Nintendo responded to the Joycon Drift controversy, and their response isn't what we're looking for and honestly isn't really the best response. Hey guys, it's Rob here and welcome back to the Robo Tron show where we talk about the latest movie and gaming news Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern Central. Today's topics include Nintendo's response to Joycon Drift, Sega trademarking a pretty weird game that I think no one expected, and a possible location for the Dragon Age 4 and a lot more news. So first off, let's talk about the Joycon Drift, which I covered in yesterday's episode. For those who don't know, the Joycon Drift is a defect in the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con that makes it so when you're trying to move the analog stick and let go, your character is still moving after you've moved the analog stick, which can get incredibly frustrating. The problem was small at first, but as more and more Joy-Cons started to have that defect, it just morphed into this huge problem, which now Nintendo is getting sued over for. Up until now, Nintendo hasn't said anything about this problem, and this is what they had to say now about the Joy-Con Drift. At Nintendo, we take great pride in creating products that we are continuously making improvements on them. We are aware of the recent reports of the Joy-Con controllers are not responding correctly. We want our consumers to have fun with Nintendo Switch, and if anything falls short of the goal, we always encourage them to visit support.nintendo.com so we can help. They haven't spoken about the lawsuit against them, and I don't think they ever will at this point. Now, is this the correct response from Nintendo about the Joy-Con Drift? In my opinion, no. No, it's not. Let's say you do send that Joy-Con in and they fix it. It's a defect. It's gonna happen again. Even if you buy another Joy-Con, it's gonna happen again. I highly doubt you're gonna be getting a free fix for the second time you send it in. So moving on, we have some Dragon Age 4 news. Now, for those who haven't played the Trespasser DLC in Dragon Age Inquisition, at the end it seems the final shot hints towards a new location, Tinaver Imperium. Now this leads people to think that maybe this is the next location for Dragon Age 4. Now you may be asking, well Rob, what does this have to do with any Dragon Age 4 news? Hold on, I'm getting to it. Now, if you haven't played any Dragon Age games, mages are somewhat of a taboo in every location you spend it. In Kirkwall, pretty much anywhere you go in Dragon Age Inquisition, there's a stigma around these mages, but the interesting thing about Tinaver is that it's ruled by mages. This would bring a fresh view on the mages in the overall arching story of Dragon Age 4. Now, where some more info on this comes in with this magic dominant location comes through a novel being released called Dragon Age Tinaver Night. Now, 7 months before Dragon Age Inquisition was released, the Mask Empire was released, giving you a sort of background stage for the game. Now, whether the Tinaver Nights are the main focus of the story or just part of a main quest remains to be seen, but it seems like we're getting some interesting magic focused locations and storytelling for Dragon Age 4 in Tinaver. And next up we have that trademark, which I find super odd that they would pick Knight's Dream Wheel. I mean, let's not forget about Jet Set Radio. I'm still waiting for a game from that series. But anyways, it seems that Sega has applied for a trademark for Knight's Dream Wheel, which I actually never got a chance to play, so it's going to be interesting to play it for the first time. And I also know it's a big deal among the Sega fans and people who are a fan of retro games, so it's really good for them to hear about this game coming up in the spotlight of gaming news. Now, the last game in this series that was out was for the Wii, which got a Metacritic score of 69 and a user score on Metacritic of 8.6. It's really interesting to see that difference between the user score and the critic score. Now, trademarks are always applied for all the time. You need to renew that license so you can keep that character or keep that game, but it's going to be interesting to see if this is a full-blown game or a reboot with new gameplay and new mechanics, or it's going to be a remaster of an older game. Now moving on, we have some Call of Duty news. We have a tease for the new weapon customization or gunsmithing in Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which Activision had something to say on the customization in Call of Duty. You can customize up to 5 parts of each weapon, up until your available slots are filled. With assault rifles, for example, you usually have 9 areas of weapons to augment: the muzzle, the lasers, the optics, the stock, the rear grip, magazine, underbarrel, and perk, so choose wisely. Now, the gameplay premiere for the multiplayer is going to be on August 1st, and the background gameplay you're seeing is from a tweet from the Call of Duty account on Twitter. Moving on to the movie side of things, we have some pretty cool movie news. First up, we have some really confusing choices for Thor 4, where it takes place in the MCU. So for Thor 4, it's going to take place before Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which is very weird because at the end of Endgame, you saw Thor go on the ship with the Guardians setting up for Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and before that, he was in New Asgard drinking beer and getting fat. And before that, Infinity War happened, so how is Thor 4 going to be taking place before Guardians of the Galaxy 3? There's 2 possibilities that I can personally think of. One, Thor is no longer going to be part of Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and that scene is no longer going to be part of the MCU timeline, a retcon you could say. Or maybe it takes place right before Infinity War and something happens during Thor Love and Thunder that adds to Thor's depression. Either way, I'm sure or hopeful that this movie will make sense when we finally see it on the screen. Next up, the Batman producer has some things to say to fans who maybe are prejudging Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne / Batman. The star of Batman movies is Bruce Wayne. Batman is the star. Batman is who everyone wants to see along with supervillains. So how does a filmmaker make the choice of which actor to cast? And I think the real key question for fans and for all of us is to focus on the filmmaker. My position is trust the filmmaker and give the filmmaker and the filmmaker's vision the benefit of the doubt, then wait to see the movie. And once you see the movie, judge the hell out of it. I think that's really the formula going forward. I couldn't be happier, I couldn't be more enthused as a Batman fan that Matt Reeves is the filmmaker in charge and selected Robert Pattinson to be his next Batman. And yeah, I think we definitely should wait. How many times have we been wrong versus how many times have we been right? I've learned my lesson by now that just because an actor has some stinkers in their past doesn't mean it's going to affect the movie going forward or any future performances that they end up doing. I mean, most of the time anyways. And moving on, we have our last story, which I think is the coolest of today, and that is a GTA mod for San Andreas. Now this modder goes by the name of J16D, and J16 has been working on this mod to bring web swinging to San Andreas GTA. Welcome to the world of modding, people, where you can have Thomas the Train in Resident Evil and Shaggy in Resident Evil, and apparently Spider-Man swinging through San Andreas in Grand Theft Auto. And think about it, this is one person. Someone really needs to hire this guy. I mean, it's so cool. Now look, is it the best looking game? No, of course not. It's no Spider-Man PS4, but to do this on your own is a huge feat and something that needs to be commended for. I love these type of mods where they change the whole game and he makes a whole new game. He even has suits from like Far From Home, the Spider-Man 4 suits, and a lot more. He even has a Spider-Man 4-esque menu going on too. It's pretty cool. If you guys want to check a video out for that, I'll leave it in the description below. And that's all I have for you guys today. Tell me your thoughts on the latest movie and gaming news so far. Are you excited for Dragon Age 4's story, or maybe you're not happy with Nintendo's response? Tell me your thoughts on all the gaming news and movie news we got today. Leave your thoughts down below, and I'll see you guys next time here on the Robo Tron Show. Have a good one.